Do national leaders matter for their country's outcomes? This is a long-standing question in the social sciences, with the debate centered around two views. One argues history is shaped by the actions of individual leaders, while the other argues they are subservient to historical circumstance and underlying demographic and economic forces. So which is it? Are leaders history's masters or its slaves? This paper revisits that question using a novel dataset covering European monarchies over the late medieval and early modern period. The data build on the work of historian Frederick Adams Woods, who, in the early 20th century, coded European rulers' cognitive capability based on reference works and state-specific historical accounts. The authors combine these assessments with measures of state performance during each ruler's reign, and they estimate the causal effect of ruler ability by exploiting two features of European monarchs during this period. First, the majority came to power according to fixed rules of hereditary succession, in which those next in line automatically ascended the throne regardless of their ability. Second, intermarriage among ruling dynasties was common. This generates variation in ruler ability as, unbeknownst to the European nobility of this period, inbreeding systematically increases the risk of genetic disorders, thereby affecting physical and mental capabilities that are linked to leadership. As an example, consider the disparate cases of Carlos II and III of Spain. Carlos II ruled from 1665 to 1700, and repeated intermarriage over many generations led him to be highly inbred. While his parents were uncle and niece, the inbreeding hidden within the deeper layers of his pedigree led him to be more inbred than an offspring of siblings would be. From a young age, he was plagued by physical and mental fragilities that hampered his ability to rule, and Spain declined during his reign. In contrast, Carlos III, who ascended the throne in 1759, had parents who were merely cousins of third degree. He was a highly capable ruler, well regarded by both contemporaries and historians, and Spain flourished under his rule. This is an illustrative case, but does the link between ruler ability and state performance hold more broadly? The paper's primary dataset comprises 339 monarchs from 13 states, and in addition to ruler ability, includes 3 measures of state performance for each reign: Woods' subjective assessment and 2 objective measures, the change in territorial area and the change in urban population. Comparing rulers of the same state over time shows that ruler ability is strongly associated with state performance. A 1 standard deviation increase in ability is associated with a 0.62 standard deviation increase in state performance, an 11% increase in land area, and a 10% increase in total urban population. But of course, this is not evidence of a causal relationship. So, mirroring the example of the 2 Carloses, the authors exploit quasi-random variation in ruler ability, induced by variation in the degree of inbreeding hidden within each individual's complex family tree. And they find that more inbred rulers fared significantly worse along all 3 dimensions of state performance. A 1 standard deviation increase in the coefficient of inbreeding leads to a 0.25 standard deviation reduction in broad state performance, a 5% loss in territory, and a 4% loss in urban population. To put these numbers in perspective, take Spain, which had highly inbred rulers and lost 7% of its territories in Europe over the period from 1500 to 1790. These estimates suggest that if the average Spanish ruler were swapped with the average Prussian ruler, Spain would have experienced a territorial gain of 58% rather than a loss of 7%. Moreover, the relationship between inbreeding and state performance runs through the effect of inbreeding on ruler ability. This figure shows that more inbred monarchs were significantly less capable rulers, and focusing on the variation in ability that is induced by variation in inbreeding reveals that a 1 standard deviation increase in ruler ability leads to a 0.8 standard deviation increase in state performance, a 16% increase in land area, and a 14% increase in urban population. Additional results show that more capable rulers fostered administrative efficiency, the rule of law, and economic prosperity within their realms. They were also less likely to engage in external conflict, but more likely to win when they did. This suggests that capable rulers chose their conflicts wisely. And so, these results provide systematic evidence that during a crucial period that laid the foundation for modern nation-states, European rulers mattered for the states they governed. Does this mean that the fortunes of states inevitably hinged on the capabilities of their leaders? The answer is no. As a final exercise, the authors code year-to-year variation in constraints on the power of monarchs, and show that factors such as parliamentary power substantially mitigated the effect of capable or incapable rulers. In other words, ruler ability mattered less when their actions were constrained by institutions. To read more on this topic, you can check out the paper's references to other related work. This includes research on the role of leaders in both politics and business, and papers studying the impact of constraints on leadership.